It is 5 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this session of the Jackson County Board of Education to order. And as we always do, we're going to take a few moments for silent reflection or prayer, whatever you choose to do. Lots of things going on in this county, this state, this nation, around the world probably since we were together last. So it's majorly impacted the way we do business and the way we care for our children. So I know that everybody in here is deeply concerned about our students, and as we are as a board. So be especially mindful of them today and through your prayers throughout the rest of the week. But if you'll bow with me for a moment of silence. Thank you. So the first thing we have on our agenda is to approve this agenda as it is presented. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve this agenda.
Mr. Matthews is going to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Knight's going to second that. We will now vote to approve. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes. So this agenda is approved. It's always good to have a recognition. We want to recognize our students every chance we have. And first we have Towson Woodall. And I think Towson is going to join us up here. And I believe Jackson Davidson is going to take that over, right?
Yes, there's a school being created in Huntsville called the Alabama School for Cyber Technology and Engineering. And each system had the opportunity to have a student represent them at that school. It's very similar to the one that's in South Alabama for the Alabama School for Math and Science. And Towson Woodall was selected, accepted into that school. He will represent us from Jackson County. He would be going into the 10th grade at Skyline. He not been in that program, but he will be a 10th grader down there, and that's something that is a unique opportunity for him to expand his interest. If you've ever been around Towson, you know really quick that he's interested in computers. He can take them apart, put them back together. He loves that kind of thing, and if you interviewed anybody that's ever been around him, whether it be an administrator or a teacher, they'll tell you that this is something that was cut out for him. And his parents are very supportive in his decision to do that, and that will be critical in him being successful. And so I think the Woodalls would allow him to be part of this program. So congratulations, Towson.
Do you have anything to say about? Are you excited?
I'm very excited and very nervous being in this room with so many higher ups congratulating me for something that I think wasn't entirely me. A lot of it was Mr. Davidson and my parents, and I'm just very grateful to them and to everyone else for my opportunity that I had.
Great.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Yeah. And just know you may be intimidated, but we probably should be afraid because you could probably get any of our banking information by any time you can. So, but promise not to do that. We appreciate it and excited for you, and I know that you're going to represent well. So Mom and Dad, we're excited. So thank you for letting Towson come. Mr. Jukes is going to give us an update on the state of the schools. I think we've got a few items there to discuss.
I'm just going to kind of tell y'all, everybody explain how we move forward with our schools. For the fourth 9 weeks grade, because we were ending, when we got out, it was ending our third 9 weeks. So what we did is of our highest 3 9 weeks, first, second, or third, we took that and let that be our fourth 9 weeks grade. Okay? Then you've heard about the packets. Some people have internet, some people have paper packets, but the packet cannot equal over 3 points. That way it can't jump somebody, 10 or 12 points, because we're going to have issues when it comes valedictorian, salutatorian, top 10 next year. So that limits that, but it can change somebody if they're close to a letter grade. It can help improve that, but 3 points maximum for that. We started out with a feeding program at one centralized location, Dutton. When we started the stay-at-home, we decided to cancel that for the safety of our employees. Now they are issuing EBT cards, and that is not through the Jackson County Board of Education. That is done through DHR. So we will have nothing to do with that, but it will go to a lot of our students. we've got kindergarten registration going on right now. We did it to be convenient for folks. We did it 8 to 11 on Tuesday. We're doing it 4 to 7 right now. We put boxes out at each school. They can pick up a packet and bring it back and sit it, and that way people do not have to touch it. I've been asked about graduation dates. I am waiting on the governor's next move. I mean, next Friday is the end of this part of her stay-at-home order, but I expect her to make another announcement on Tuesday, and we will move forward after that as far as announcing graduation dates. We will have them, and I will say more than likely it's going to be late July. One thing that Dr. Mackey said the other day in a conference, he said everything was phased down. He does not see any reason that it's not phased back up rather than going wide open at once. So I figure by late July we should be fine, but I'm going to wait till next week before I make that decision. Everybody's been working. Principals, a lot of people have been here at the central office, have been working really hard. Teachers have been doing amazing things. The key thing that we told our folks is get in touch with your students, get in touch with them. And we've been flexible with our folks, but be in touch with your students. But depending on what the governor says, as of today, May the 18th through 22nd, we will be back in our schools. No students will be allowed back in our schools, but employees will be to wrap up. Now, I'll have the work message out for employees, but it will be broken into shifts so everybody's not there at one time, but it'll give us a chance to wrap up our school year. And again, if the governor extends what she's got right now, that could change some of that. But that's where we are now. Does anybody have any questions on any of that?
Has the governor or the state superintendent, have they made any recommendations about the start of next school year?
They made yes, Dr. Mackey made the recommendation to start after August the 20th based on what he knows now for students. He said that would have to be an amended calendar through the school board, and it would need to be sent with them. And then he came back and he said, but teachers have to work 187 days no matter how you do it. So our students are starting back August the 7th, August the 20th. That's a week and a half, 2 weeks. Unless he says, Mr. Dukes, you're changing, I'm not planning on changing it at this point.
So what about the capacity in the classrooms? Is that going to change?
We don't know about the start other than he recommended the backup. They haven't got that far with it yet. That will come, I'm sure.
Have we got anybody in our system already working on it? They got to have a 6-foot space, planning to stripe that off or whatever we got to do, tape it off before we can.
When we come back, May the 18th through 22nd, we'll wrap up this school year. And then that following Monday will be Memorial Day. And after that, we'll be spending a lot of time this summer preparing, getting ready, coming up with a plan like that for everything.
Do you know if they made any recommendations about sports that you know of yet?
Right now, as of now, June 5th will be the first time for sports. No more than 10 people there. And he said, if there's 2 coaches, that's 8 kids. And said you got to have a cleanup and sanitizing after each session rather than at the end of the day. Right now, for high school folks, for over 12, I think he said, June 5th. Anybody under 12, they won't be allowed back in schools before July, as of now. So no students are supposed to be there before June 5th. And that includes teachers' kids. I mean, nobody's supposed to be in schools. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to be, when I do this, I'll be flexible in case we've got a couple that's got children. They can work different hours and not have to pay for daycare.
Still a lot of stuff to be figured out, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's in the same situation, though. And hopefully things will get back to normal soon.
But our folks have really busted their tail and really done good work, and you see what these people do, and I mean, like I said, flexible. And you see all the folks that are in here, and the majority of the central office folks have been here. Some have worked every day. The teachers, some of the things they're putting on social media. The people with the internet, I mean, North Alabama Electric Co-op, FTC gave some spots. Mark Dover's feeding folks, providing free meals. Stacy Ledwell bought 50 kids meals at 4 different restaurants. Bradley Wilson's leading the charge at Pisgah with churches and getting things going. So we've got really good people in Jackson County, and they're really trying to help our children, and I really appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jukes. We will move on to general business. We're going to consider a motion for any corrections, additions, or deletions to the March 3rd special call board meeting minutes or the March the 11th board meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, let's go second that. Any discussion on those? And we'll move to vote to approve those. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
I'll abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay, Mr. Knight's going to stay because he wasn't here that meeting, and I will vote yes, so those are now approved. B, consider a motion to approve the financial statements and the list of reconciled bank accounts for February 2020. Those were attached. Total payroll expenditures, $3,828,888.22, and the total non-payroll expenditures, $836,538.26. We have a motion and a move to.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Mr. Knight's going to do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthews, is there any discussion? We'll move to approve those. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. C, consider a motion to approve the financial statements and list of reconciled bank accounts for March 2020. Those payroll expenditures were $3,788,799.88, and the total non-payroll expenditures, $956,456.93.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Matthews makes motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, second. Any discussion? We'll move to approve those. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. D, consider a motion to approve the bid in the amount of $838,600 for HVAC improvements at Stevenson Middle School with Forsyth Building.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We got a second. Any discussion? We'll move to vote on that. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. E, consider a motion to approve the bid in the amount of $296,304 to Train U.S. Incorporated for purchase of equipment to fulfill this bid at Stevenson Middle School, HVAC. I'll make a motion to approve that. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthews going to second that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
I thought yes, not here myself. Yes, motion carries. Under personnel, the first thing we have under item 4 is going to be resignations. And we have A through E there. And is there an issue, or does anyone have any objections to taking those as one motion? Pretty good. So we will entertain a motion to accept A through E for resignation. So consider a motion to accept the following resignations, A through E. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Matthews makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Knight seconds. Any discussion? Then we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. And those resignations have been accepted. Under retirements, we have A through Q, and we have several retirements. We'd also like to take those in one motion if that's acceptable to the board. Okay, we're going to take those in a motion, but I'm also going to read those names. So retiring, we have Sandra Jones, who's a bus driver at Section. We have Tabitha Treese, North Sun Mountain. Trina Johnson, Skyline. Paula Phillips, Bridgeport. Carol Dutton at Dutton. Kathy Patty at Bridgeport. We have Sheila Kinnemer at Bridgeport. We have Laney Thurman, CNP manager at Rosalie. Susan Stockman at Section. Eddie Kirby at North Sun Mountain. Gus Hembry at Pisgah. Deb Stewart, Bridgeport Elementary. Johnny Spurgeon, North Sun Mountain. Alice Gross, Hollywood. Bobby Williams, Stevenson. Bonnie Franklin, Skyline, and Rose Pittman at Bryant. So those were our retirements. So
Some good folks on that list, some
Yeah.
hard workers. I'm gonna thank them for their time for Jackson County Schools.
there's some who have spent way more than 25 years with us.
Oh, yeah.
So we are proud to be able to take those retirements. So we'll consider a motion to approve those red retirements, A through Q.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Knight's gonna make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Matthews is gonna make a second. Is there any discussion? No discussion, so we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And myself is yes, that motion carries. Congratulations to those individuals. We have, the next we have is certified non-renewals. We have A through W. Is there, can we take these certified non-renewals in one motion? Is there any objection to doing that? Then we will consider these non-renewals of certified employees. Do we have a motion to accept A through W for non-renewal?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Matthews makes a motion. I'll second that. Any discussion? No discussion, so now we will take a vote on the certified non-renewals. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. And those have been approved. Next, we have non-certified non-renewals. And we have A through F. So if you'll review that list, and let's see if we can take those as a one motion. Is there any objection to taking A through F, non-certified, non-renewals? Okay. And we'll entertain a motion to consider these non-certified, non-renewals.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Do we have any discussion?
These, tech school bus drivers, are you going back to a two-period day or?
Going back to 2-period days, yes. And this is only pink slipping them from their tech route.
Yeah.
This is not pink slipping them from the regular route.
Was there a third one? When the three buses?
Retired.
They retired,
Retired.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. Good question, Mr. West. All right. So we have a motion. Mr. Matthews, second. Mr. Knight, we had discussion. That needs to be a yes. So now we will move to approve these non-certified non-renewals A through F. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes. And A through F have now been approved. We have principal contracts. We will move through those individually since there's three. Principal contracts. A, consider a motion to renew the following non-probationary principal contracts effective July the 1st, 2020. Mr. Scotty Overdeer, we have a motion to renew his contract.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Matthews makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Knight seconds that. Is there any discussion? And we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Motion carries. Number two, a motion to consider a motion to renew Dustin Roden as principal at North Sun Mountain High School effective July the 1st.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion. I'll second that. Is there any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Motion carries. Consider a motion to renew the following non-probationary contract for Doug Haynes, principal at Section High School.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And I'll abstain on that one because of relation. So that motion carries. Under employments, we're going to take these individually. So we have, under employments, A, consider a motion to employ Blake Wigley as assistant principal at North Sun Mountain High School effective August the 1st. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And Myself is a yes, motion carries. B, consider a motion to employ Ronald Hendricks as a teacher and basketball coach at Pisgah High School effective August the 3rd.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Now, are we hiring him as a basketball coach, or is that just the supplement? We just approving the supplement? for
Teacher and basketball coach, not just supplement, teacher and basketball coach.
Okay. Any questions? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. C, consider a motion to employ Pam Thomas as an 85% teacher at Stevenson Middle School effective August the 3rd. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight? Yes. Myself is a yes, motion carries. D, consider a motion to employ Heidi Schrader as an elementary teacher at Sexton High School effective August the 3rd. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. E, consider a motion to employ Coach Schrader as a history teacher, coach at Section High School effective August the 3rd. Make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Knight makes a second. Any discussion?
Is he coaching?
Yeah.
Yes.
Coach.
What is he coaching?
He's a football coach.
Football.
Football.
And he'll have a second sport as well.
It's luck of the draw, isn't it?
Yeah, young guys.
Okay. So we will now move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. F, consider a motion to employ Angie Gant as a 25% special ed teacher at Macedonia effective August 3rd. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Matthew seconds that. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
I vote yes. Myself is a yes, motion carries. G, consider a motion to employ Chris Mize as electrical technology teacher at Epcot effective August the 3rd. This is going to be pending his background clearance.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Knight's going to second that. Any discussion?
Now, is that a career tech program?
Yes, sir.
Has he had 7 years' experience in the last 10 years?
Absolutely.
Have you got that document where we can see it?
No, but it will be forthcoming. And he did pass the background check.
Did what now?
He did pass the background check.
Okay.
He's been employed-
But do you have that where we can see that he's got 7 years' experience?
He's got 18 years in the last job he's got, but it's in his resume packet online.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. H, consider a motion to employ Tyler Van as football coach, teacher at Woodville High School effective August the 3rd.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Knight's going to second that. Any discussion?
Is this the head coach?
Head football, yes, sir.
This is head football?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. I, consider a motion to employ Wynn Reed as a school secretary at Bridgeport Elementary effective August the 3rd.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. I'll second that. We have any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. J, consider a motion to employ Mary Davis as a custodian at Bridgeport Elementary School effective August the 3rd.
Make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Under transfers, we have A through I. Mr. West has made asked that we break out E, F, and G. So we have E, F, and G. We can take those individually. Is everybody else good with going A through D and H through I and breaking out E, F, and G? Mr. West, that sound good?
Yeah.
Still? Okay. Then everything is August the 3rd on these as well. So the date's August the 3rd. So we'll consider a motion to approve the transfers A through D.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion? No discussion. Then we'll move to a vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes. And those transfers, A through D, have been approved. We will take, let's go ahead and do H through I, H and I. We have we would like to consider a motion to approve the transfers of H through I.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Knight's gonna make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthews gonna second H through I. Is there any discussion? No discussion. So we'll vote on H through I. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Motion carries. So then we will now go to E. E, consider a motion for involuntary transfer of Beth Caperton from a teacher at Flat Rock School to a teacher at Bryant School effective August the 3rd.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Matthews makes that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Knight's going to second that. Any discussion?
Why is an involuntary transfer from Flat Rock to Bryant?
So all three of these involuntary transfers are where that school that they're leaving from has lost either a unit or partial of a unit, and so we're having to transfer them to another school where we may have pink slipped somebody and we're having to put them in that spot. But that's where they go in the feeder pattern. So we're pink slipping them, and they don't have to apply. We can just put them there as long as it's in the feeder pattern. So all three of those follow that, which is part of the Students First Act, and it's not a pleasant thing. I had to do it. I taught 6 years at Macedonia. We lost a unit, and I ended up not going in the feeder pattern. I went to Northside Mountain School for 1 year, and then I ended up going back to Macedonia 6 years. So I've done it a lot further than this. The beauty is they've all three got jobs. That's the most important
I
thing.
understand that. Did you talk to all three of these before you?
All these pink slips and all these transfers, the principals have supposed to already talk to all of them. Yes,
So they didn't want to, that by involuntary, they didn't want to.
they just didn't apply for it because that wasn't what they wanted to do. No, I mean, and I understand that because when you're pleased with where you're at, but you're having to told you get to move. But these are the last. There's no true method of how you determine who goes. But in this situation, it was the last one's in, the last one's out.
I guess my question, did you do it by seniority or did you just do it by?
On this, we did. There's no true method. I mean, they could have picked anybody, but in both of these situations, it was the last one's hired.
And hopefully, maybe at some point, those schools will regain their units and they can go back.
Yes.
And if there were other elementary jobs or other jobs that come up,
They can apply for those
they
as
can still
well,
apply,
yes.
right? Okay. All right. Any other questions on E? Move to vote. Mr. West.
I'm gonna vote no because it's involuntary.
Okay, Mr. West gonna vote no. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Myself is yes, and that motion carries. F, consider a motion for the involuntary transfer of Melissa Howell from a teacher at Flat Rock School to 66% teacher at Flat Rock and 34% teacher at Bryant, effective August the 3rd.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion? I think Mr. Dukes probably addressed that concern, so we'll move to vote. Mr. West.
I'm gonna vote no again.
Mr. West gonna vote negative. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Myself is yes. Motion carries. G, consider a motion for the involuntary transfer of Sheena Daniel from a teacher at Rosalie School to 69% teacher at Rosalie School, 31% teacher at Dutton School, effective August the 3rd. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Matthews gonna second that. Any discussion? No
Now, is this, because they lost enrollment too?
Rosalie lost 31%.
Is she the youngest employee?
She's the last one in. And Rosalie to Dutton is part of Pisgah's feeder pattern. So
Is that why
that
we
follows
got this
student
sheet that
first.
says the feeder pattern? Is that why, is that why we got this feeder pattern?
that's why I left the feeder pattern. Yes.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move to vote on G. Mr. West.
No.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. So that has included those. We're gonna go to coaching. We'll have to take these individually, I think. We got several of those, so. A, consider motion to approve Callie Porter as assistant softball coach for the 2019-2020 school year.
I make the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second, any discussion? Mr. Dukes, know what school that's at?
That'd be North Jackson.
NJ. All right, move to vote, Mr. West.
Now, what was your question again?
I just asked what school it was gonna be at.
Oh, okay.
North Jackson.
Yes, yes.
Mr. West is a yes. Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. B, consider motion to approve Megan Willis as a cheerleader sponsor for North Jackson High School effect for the 1920 school year.
I make the motion.
The motion, I'll second that. Is there any discussion? Move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. C, consider motion to approve Jacob Croft as an assistant baseball coach for North Jackson for the 2019-2020 school year.
I make the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second, we have any discussion? Move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight? And myself is a yes, motion carries. D, consider motion to accept the resignation of Brian Smith as a girls basketball coach at Woodville High School. This is to be effective
Immediately.
immediately.
Is this Brian's choice?
Yes, yes. He's giving us girls.
Okay. All right, so we have that effective immediately. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? Move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
And myself is yes, motion carries. E, consider motion to accept the resignation of Woody Beard as boys basketball coach at Pisgah High School.
I'll make the motion.
All right. We got a motion. I'll second that. Is there any discussion?
Is this his choice too?
Yes. I'll move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. F, consider motion to approve Melissa Brown as assistant volleyball coach at North Jackson.
I make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Guess that's effective August 3rd. Or
Now these are for now, so if we get to go through summer,
okay.
these will be ready to work with
Okay.
the students from
All
this
right, so
point
these will be
forward.
immediately.
The
If
rest
they-
of them.
Now, let's just say supposedly that they cancel these program. I mean, you know, like football, basketball, whatever. Since we hired these, do we still have to pay them?
This has nothing to do with the supplement sheet. The supplement sheet comes in the fall, and you approve that separately. So these are not about pay right now. These are
Okay.
strictly about being able to be with students.
Okay, got you now.
Okay. So we have a motion, Mr. Matthews, a second by Mr. Knight. So we'll move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Knight.
Yes.
Self, yes, motion carries. G, consider motion to approve Gerald Riggs Jr. as a non-faculty assistant football coach at North Jackson. This will be effective immediately. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. We have any discussion?
Is he already approved? I mean, got all his credentials and everything?
As far as I know, he does, yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
As far as I know, yes, he does.
Does he already work in the state of Alabama?
I'm
No.
not sure about that. He's a non-faculty assistant.
But don't they have certain criteria they gotta pass before they can be with students?
You just have to do the.
To get the coaching card, they've got to go through the athletic association stuff, the courses and
Yeah.
all the programs.
I think they include the background check too. for
That
us.
does include the background check, yes.
Okay. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Did I do that while ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm behind. No wonder. I'm on a different line. Got ahead one. All right, so I made a motion. Mr. Matthews seconded that. We had some discussion, and we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and motion carries. Now I'm on the right line. Consider a motion to approve Jamal Best as a non-faculty assistant football coach at North Jackson High School.
I make the motion.
Okay. Mr. Matthews is going to make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Knight is gonna second that. Any discussion?
Is this the same? He's,
Same thing, yes.
Okay. Mr. West?
yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. I consider a motion to approve Natalie Stevens as a middle school cheerleader coach at North Jackson High School. This will be effective immediately.
I'll make the motion.
A motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
She's already there. I guess she's already done this before.
That
She was
section.
at section for
Okay.
2 or 3 years.
So we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to approve Crystal Hurd as a volleyball coach at Pisgah High School.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. I'll second that. Is there any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
And, myself is yes, motion carries. K, consider a motion to approve Beth Capron as a junior high cheerleader coach at Pisgah High School. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. We have any discussion? This would be the same thing. She would have to pass everything that everybody else has. So we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. L, consider a motion to approve Tyler Van as a varsity football coach at Woodville High School. I'll make
We'd
that
already done that before.
hiring teacher. We're gonna make sure he's the
Don't
varsity.
give him 2 jobs.
Yeah,
I'll second.
we're gonna take it again. Just in case you decide to back out, Tyler, we got you hired, man. We got a motion. We got a second. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. We've hired that dude twice. Announcements, we are looking at our next board meeting being on June 25th, is that right?
June 25th.
June 25th, 5 o'clock. And what else do we have, Mr. Dukes?
I want to thank Pam Vernon. I don't know where she's at, but for taking everybody's temperatures and offering masks up for everybody and basically being our security guard at the door tonight. I appreciate that. And I appreciate, again, everything our faculty and staff, our principals, everything has done to make this work during this uncertain times.
All right. Nobody else? 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
I got a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Mr. Dave? On the one that you sent out earlier, it had a math job on there for tech school. Did you take that out?
Oh, it's on there, you approved it.
Oh, did I? Which one was that? I must have missed that.
Until you took it.
Action
Okay,
item.
gotcha,
At the
gotcha.
very bottom.
No, there's still one off there.
There's
isn't
still
there?
one.
Still one missing? What was,
Computer science.
and that was a career tech program? That's a
Academic.
course? Okay, gotcha.
So that one will repost and you'll look to hire that at our next board meeting.
I knew there was something missing. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, that's announcements. June 25th, 5 o'clock, be our next board meeting. Unless for some reason we have to have a meeting between now and then. Anything else? We entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We got a second. I don't think anybody's going to discuss that one. So all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you for coming.